Welcome, and thank you for joining us for another beautifully blessed, peaceful, prosperous, productive, and phenomenally powerful night. We are your hosts, Tori the Barber, the one and only, the only one under the sun, and the man with the plan, my right-hand man, Free Will Code.
What's happening? Free Will Code in the building. Thank you, and welcome to another edition of the Free Will Podcast, where we create a community that normalizes growth. You know, people like you and me, so we can be the best version of ourselves, huh? What's happening, Tor? How you doing today, my boy?
Man, I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty well and swell. How you doing today, Mr. Cole?
Oh, man, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm cold, a little under the weather.
Yeah.
You might experience a little pesky cough from me now and then go ahead on and now and here and
every
there.
Now and then, yeah.
Here and there, every now and then.
Yeah.
So go ahead on and ignore that, right? But other than that, man, I'm in a building. You heard me? We in the building. I would like to stay in the building. I don't even want to go to the car. How cold it is outside. It's ridiculous.
I'm telling you.
What about you, man? How you feeling today?
Like you said, it's damn cold outside. I mean, you gonna definitely think twice before walking back outside. You be like, man, I really need to go get that phone out of the car.
Right. Do I really need that food in the car? It's in the refrigerator anyway.
I mean, the refrigerator anyway. Look, it's gonna be all right. Man, I'm doing good, cool, man. The weather dropping. We're supposed to have a countrywide freeze, winter freeze type of situation happening, and I know that in a lot of places it's going down. Literally, the temperature dropping like crazy, and it's real cold. Ice roads, snowing here and there. People getting snowed in, and so when that kind of behavior, the temperature or the weather take on that kind of behavior, it creates chaos in a lot of places. So I just hope everybody stays safe and stay warm out there. But yeah, that's how I'm doing, Mr. Cole. What about yourself? I think you said it already. Did you already?
I think I did, buddy. But I'll say it again if you need me to.
Not necessarily, but you can tell them people what you're grateful for.
Yeah, man, I'm grateful. I'm grateful to have a bed to sleep in. I'm grateful for the shoes on my feet. I'm grateful for the man up above, the Lord. I'm also grateful for my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. You know what I'm saying? That means because of him, I could do something no matter what. Because of him, my past is forgiven. Like I can do something and then I can come back from that. Come back from it. You know what I'm saying? He gave me shake back time, huh?
Yeah.
So I appreciate that. I also appreciate my lady, man. Shout out to her. She back out there working. She's in school now, so she'll go ahead and knock that out. She'll be back soon. Sooner than later than sooner for me, because you heard me, I missed that ting already.
How was the time y'all was able to spend together, Cole?
Oh, it was amazing, man. It was amazing. Back like we never left. Back better than we've been. Time or distance is sometimes necessary. Or I think necessary, period. But sometimes it's necessary, in certain situations where things may be lost, so and not even just in relationships, in other things, you're working on something, you're getting frustrated with it, just go ahead on and leave it alone for a couple of hours or maybe even a day and come back with a fresh mind. It'll always be a bit smoother next time around, right? So I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for Tor. Man, it's my dog here, man. Thankful for my family, my parents, shout out to my pops. Shout out to my sister, my little brother, it's my peoples. Love my family to death. What about you, man? What you grateful for?
First thing first, all praises to the Most High. I'm gonna just keep that real short to the point and simple, man. All praise to the Most High.
Don't keep his part short and simple.
Every single aspect of the sense of the word. If you feel me, you feel me. I'm saying because we here in the building and they got a lot going on, but we still above ground. You know what I'm saying? And every day we wake up with a chance and a choice. So I am super duper grateful for that, and also too I'm grateful for my first lady, man. In the building, standing 10 toes down. You know what I'm saying? Support system on 10 on fleet. And man, I'm super grateful for also my kids, Kaylee and LeVay, my parents, and also to my wonderful clients who sure for me, you know what I'm saying? When I say, look, I'm doing this YouTube thing, you know what I'm saying? I need y'all to we'll make sure y'all subscribe and we'll make sure y'all get on board and support. They do. And I'm super duper thankful for them being a part of our support system. And I come on here as Tori the Bob every week, so it's only right that I put y'all on the stage with me when we go where we go. You dig? But I'm grateful for that. Also, too, like Coach said, you know, the small things like got a bed to sleep in. You know, I was complaining about my bed once upon a time. And cause you know, after a while, it's time you gotta refresh your mattress. You know, you gotta get to the mattress go to dipping in a little bit. But you know what I'm saying? You get to a point to where, you know, well, I'm at a point now to where I can't really tell. It's just cool. I guess if it's the final stage of the breaking process, cause I ain't complaining about it no more. But nonetheless, I'm just grateful to have a bed to sleep in, shelter, roof over my head. I can regulate the temperature even though the temperature is crazy outside, and I'm super duper thankful for that. Got food, you know, to nourish my body and everything like that, and super duper thankful for that, man. So that's what I am grateful for. Yeah, heard the coach.
Sure.
I think it's about that time.
It's about that time to turn off the lights.
Yes, sir.
Light a candle. Nah, I'm playing. Go ahead and bow your heads. Let's give a moment of silence.
Yes, Lord.
For our brand new subscribers and the ones who get post notifications. Yes, Lord, I appreciate y'all. Go ahead and put a D on the end of that subscribe if you haven't done that already, and go ahead on and hit the like button on that post so we can fill that thumb up with love and energy, and
love and energy.
You know what I'm saying, and support, man. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate the newcomers. I appreciate the old comers. We love you all.
Yes,
come grow with us. Come show up and grow with us. You heard me?
Yeah. Shoot this thing off for somebody. Make sure you're sharing this podcast too. Let me tell you something. If anybody who's listening, anybody that's listening, if you got to this point, even if you are a consistent follower of the Free Will Podcast and the Free Will family, if you made it to this point, I would love for y'all to shoot this video to at least 2 people. And I know sometimes nowadays circles be small. Find somebody else. Find somebody you just met, somebody on social media. I don't really care who you send it to. Just make sure you send it to 2 new people, 2 different people than you already sent it to before. And we would highly appreciate that exposure.
Listen, just make it easy. Go ahead and drop it in the group chat. I know you got a group chat. Everybody got a group chat. Drop it in the group chat. It could be.
So y'all check this out. So y'all check this out.
It could be your grandma group chat. Yeah, put it up in there. I'm sure they'll appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. What's that, Toe?
What that is?
Let's drop that.
Word on the street. Word on the street. Word on the street.
2 prisoners who are among the 37 federal inmates whose death sentences were commuted last month by President Joe Biden, a move that spares them from the death chamber, have taken an unusual stance. They're refusing to sign paperwork accepting his clemency action. Shannon Agofsky and Lynn Davis, both inmates at the U.S. Penitentiary in Indiana, filed emergency motions in federal court in the state's Southern District on December 30th, seeking an injunction to block having their death sentences commuted to life in prison without parole. The men believe that having their sentences commuted will put them at legal disadvantage as they seek to appeal their cases based on claims of innocence. The courts look at death penalty appeals very closely in the legal process known as a heightened scrutiny, in which courts should examine death penalty cases for errors because of the life and death consequences of the sentence, right? Yeah. The process doesn't necessarily lead to a greater likelihood of success, but Agofsky suggested he doesn't want to lose that additional scrutiny to commute his sentence now while the defendant has active litigation in court is to strip him of the protection of heightened scrutiny. Right? What you think about that, too?
Well, I think when I first heard about it, it was kind of took me back a little bit to try to figure out exactly what was going on and the background story of it. Because Well, I can say one thing for sure. If you're on death row, you don't have too much to lose. I mean, you got everything to lose. You got your life to lose, but at the same time, you in a real pickle. So, you want to break down exactly what it is that's going on with this situation, because it's a lot of words. So, just in short, or you
man. So like you asking me if I want you to do that?
No, you can do it. I can do it.
Yeah. So basically, what's happening is these two guys. Well, it was 37 people, right? They were set up to get that lethal injection, that machine that they'll get ready to get taken out of the game, right? They done too much. And Biden, who is someone who's actually against death penalties, decided to pardon them, right? Allow them to serve life in court. Well, two guys in particular filed motions to deny the death penalty. At first, I'm like, okay, sure, I guess some people just, it's a wrap on them. They just ready to just get me out of here. Don't prolong my life any further. But these guys did it because there's a loophole in which what they call heightened scrutiny, right? That allows them to. It's a higher level appeal, in which the court will, go revisit their case to make sure there weren't any mistakes made. Yeah. Right. And so they were mad. They didn't want to mess up that opportunity, right? My thing is, if you're doing that, you obviously want to live, right? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. You never know. Because I guess if you're innocent, then you go for it, right? But if you lose, it's over with.
Yeah. So that's
if you lose, that's it for you. You're gonna get the, you know what I'm saying? But I guess it's you either choosing life in prison or a life in prison may be already death for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Shit, nowadays they got it good in them prisons, man. Based off from what it used to be, they got tablets now. You can get video chat.
Yeah,
you got emails and different things. You can
damn near watch Netflix
more regularly. Yeah. So they got a whole lot more privileges, but it still ain't like the real thing, like being out and about. Now you did say something earlier that I wanted to kind of like, I think correct a little bit. You said pardon, but it's not necessarily pardon, because the pardon when they get pardoned, I mean they get I guess like forgiven for their crimes.
Well, no,
and then they get to
pardon
from
the death penalty.
Also, that's still because I know they got this word here. We're looking at the commutation, and pretty much what the commutation is pretty much they are still convicted of their crime, but they get, I guess like Cole said, they get pardoned from the death penalty. But they still convicted of their crime. They just spending life in prison without the possibility for parole. So the reason why these gentlemen are taking a stance to not accept that I guess that gesture that Joe Biden is giving them is because if they do that, then that's just case closed. I guess it's kind of like a deal that they got to take, and then once they take that deal, that's just what it is. It's set in stone. They don't get a chance to fight it, I guess, because they could have accepted it, took the life without parole, and then fought it. But I think once they take that, it's set in stone. So they're like, look, instead of taking that, listen, I believe I'm innocent. I believe I can get found innocent, and I'm gonna take my chances. But like Cole said, if they get found guilty again, if they shut the door on them and they miss that opportunity, and it's it is what it is for them.
Hey man, unless you know for sure that you're actually innocent, the fight been over, to be honest.
Cause you already where you at.
They ain't got that ass all the way to death penalty, bro. It don't even worry about it. Yeah. Like, because the process of getting you to the death penalty is already extensive in this day and age. It used to be a little bit worse, to where people were more likely to get wrongfully
wrongfully accused and different things.
You know what I'm saying? But it's a little bit different now. If it's getting done to you now, then listen, you out of there, player. Don't even worry about it.
I'm sure there's always a chance, but there's two separate cases though. So, I guess that's just what kind of like what it is. Like, man, look, because sometimes you can have it fought, you can fight it, because a lot of times it's circumstantial evidence to where the prosecutors don't necessarily have you caught dead to rights, but at the same time, they can make it seem like you the one who did it enough. They can sell a perception, and then the jury got to decide if it was you or not. Because when you watch these, they got like the TV court. Like, I've been watching this TV show called Suits, so that's all I've been watching is like a lawyer, attorney stuff, and all this kind of stuff. And actually, the last 2 episodes, they actually have a man on death row. Coincidentally, he fighting death row right now on that show. But the thing about it is that you can fight it, but all in all, you wanna make it count. If you're gonna go that way with it, then you wanna make it count. Listen, Cole. That's a hell of a position to be in, regardless. You know what I'm saying? Whether you did it, whether you didn't do it. But if you think you got a shot, you know what I'm saying? If you think that you can get because I guess if they was to reopen it, you would have to go in front of the jury again, present the new evidence or whatever the case is, and then try to change their minds. But if you can do that, if you believe you got a good case and your attorney is confident, then hey. But sometimes them attorneys will take your money just because you got it to spend on your life. They're gonna take it even though you going down the lonely drain. So
right, yep. Yep. Oh, you listen, son. We're gonna get you out. You don't worry about that.
We're gonna do everything in our power.
Yeah, take that bread and go straight to Chipotle. Boy, eat lunch with that money. You know what I'm saying?
But Mr. Cole, man, let's use this moment to transition and just explain to our family what exactly we're gonna be talking about tonight on this particular episode.
Yeah, man. So let's open with a statistic, right? Mm-hmm. 1 out of 10 family members become estranged, right?
In other words,
estrangement means to basically cut someone off, right? Or
to be cut off.
Or to be cut off, right?
Right.
And so that's pretty interesting, right?
Sure.
People may not look at that like that's a lot, but if you have 10 people in a room or in a family or whatever, one of those people are basically cut off, or has cut someone off. But there's some cuts that have been made, right, with one of those people.
Yeah.
And that's that's statistically that is an average, right? Mm-hmm. And it actually said that that's across all races and ethnicities, right? Mm-hmm. In most families, it's a bit more than that, too.
Yeah.
And so we want to kind of talk about the difficulty in navigating relationships with our members of our family. People who are related to us. Mm-hmm. People who have the same blood running through our veins. You know what I'm saying?
People that raised us.
Yep, all that stuff, right? And so, it's a lot of stuff that comes up, right, in our families, right? Sure. We arguing about something. So it's either it's money, it's whether or not we have a family business. Sometimes mom's got a favorite son more than the other one. Is people getting favoritism. They got family events, secrets, and a whole bunch of other stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I think that there's an underlying thing that happens, which we'll get into, man. But so I got a question for you, man. So, I want you to think about, because I like when we open up and we get a bit personal. I think that's when we have our best moments. You know what I'm saying? So think about a time, and it's definitely gonna be probably a lot, but think about a specific time when you were torn between. And we talked about one of these with you on
the middle episode.
You're right. But you can either revisit that one or you know, bring something else up, right? So think about a time when you were torn between family loyalty and personal, but actually this is different. So this is family loyalty and personal well-being, right? Think about that and what emotions was present during that time.
Well, I think if I was to approach that question, first off, I think I would like to. Well, I guess before I get into the emotional thing, I guess kind of more so the scenario base of it all will probably do more justice. But I would say I just use the phrase, some close relatives without putting people out there down bad. You know what I'm saying? But I had some close relatives.
Say the name, Toe. It is what it is.
We ain't gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? But in this particular scenario, I felt that there was a breach in loyalty. I feel like I was entitled to family loyalty. And I feel like that my family was either disloyal to me and loyal with an outside party, or they just didn't have enough consideration from my perspective and point of view. And like I said, I felt entitled to that. So navigating those emotions and that mindset at the time, I kind of felt like I guess you could say maybe some rejection was a part of that because of who the outside party is and just who this particular family member is or family members are. And that's all kind of relevant to this scenario. And for me, man, it was just one of those things where as it pertains to the question, along with the in a scenario like that, you kind of want to feel like your family have your back. Me personally, I'm not even really somebody who, like, Cole called me today or tomorrow, be like, "Oh, what's going on? So how you doing?" I'm like, "Man, day pretty good. How your day going?" "Man, day pretty good. I can't complain about much." That's just me. So whether I got something going on or not, the last thing I want to do is spread negative energy. But when I need help, when I need advice, I ask her, "Man, look, I got this situation, whatever." Sometimes it just takes us being on the phone long enough and eventually I get to it. So in this particular scenario, I go to my family. They already kind of like have some insight from this outsider. And so I felt it was necessary for me to open up about my side of the scenario, because after all, y'all kind of like carrying some false perception. Yes, y'all kind of carrying some false perceptions of the matter because you only got one side of it all. So when it comes to me explaining my side of things, what I'm saying, I kind of expect my word to hold more weight in the situation. Now, I don't want to manipulate nobody. I'm not necessarily trying to, paint any false narratives, but I'm giving it to you straight. And ultimately, that's my personal truth. You know what I'm saying? And to be honest, like, to me, in my mind, like, my truth is the truth, because there's really ultimately just the truth. So I'm giving the best truth I could give you. You know what I'm saying? It's all or nothing. So when you become vulnerable and me, somebody who don't really let people in, when I open up and I let you in and I don't get what I expect because you're family, it kind of put me in a weird spot to where it's like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Like, it feel like you took a side, but it don't seem like you took my side. It don't seem like you move. And I feel like when it come down to family and loyalty, sometimes people can be loyal to a fault, and loyalty to a fault can be like, whether you right or wrong, I'm riding with you regardless. I believe there has to be like a healthy cutoff point there. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, in a situation kind of like mine, I just feel like it's a certain way as family that we should have been able to move and be on the same page and just kind of like have common respect for me and my situation and my part and my involvement in it. And so to your question, Cole, to make it full circle, I feel like I kind of want you to repeat it so I can kind of give it to you. It's kind of like choosing, like what was it exactly the question?
So you described a situation where basically your family, there was a conflict with your family's loyalty to you, right? And like the question was more of a between you choosing between loyalty to your family and then another situation, but what you said is still important, right? So we were still going to talk about it.
No, but I need you to recite that question the way that it was recited when I first opened up.
Yeah, so it's just a time when you felt torn between your family, a loyalty to your family, and another personal well-being, whatever that was.
Or another personal well-being?
Yeah.
Or my personal well-being?
I mean, yeah, so personal, like your personal well-being, for sure. Whatever.
Yeah, that's why I kind of went that way with it, because ultimately I could have chosen to still be loyal to my family, even though I felt like my family wasn't really being loyal to me. You see what I'm saying? You want me? Yeah. So I kind of feel like, their loyalty was in question, but it caused me to make a decision based off of how I kind of like took everything in. You know, their loyalty was in question in my opinion, but I'm gonna continue to be loyal to y'all, or I'm gonna choose my own personal interest. And so it was a situation where I chose my own personal interest, and then I called basically what we talking about tonight. Like, there's been a bit of, you know that word that you use, but I just say separation or cut off, but it wasn't like an extreme blunt cut off, but it's just separation. There's this phrase that Kevin Gates said a long time ago. I know I quoted it once before, but he said loyalty get greeted with loyalty. This loyalty get met with distance. And I'm not gonna say that because he said that, that's why I'm acting like that, but it's just a perfect description of my position and how I felt in this situation. And for my personal well-being, instead of me trying to, like, I feel like I communicated, I feel like I gave my best words and insight on everything that's going on, and I didn't necessarily get the result I felt like I needed. So I chose my personal well-being, and I backed off, and I separated myself from family in the matter. And I'm like, shit, y'all ain't really rocking with me anyway, so I'm just gonna rock by myself and do what I feel is best for me, because that's what I feel like it is regardless. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of like my position on the thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so sounds like, you know, you had there was a disagreement and you could have chosen to fight that disagreement, and that would have been the loyalty side to your family. But instead of going through that headache and stuff like that, you were just like, I'm gonna choose my personal well-being and just go ahead on and distance myself from that.
For sure.
Right? I think that is probably one of the most that's usually what we do. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. For a lot of different reasons, you know, because, you know, a lot of times, you know, someone positive would be like, hey, you know, that's your family, y'all need to figure that out. But if I'm the only one that has that mindset of figuring it out, and I don't really even got to figure it out, that's tough. Mm-hmm. It's really hard to do, right? And so a lot of times there may be a solution there, but we won't get to it because of those difficult circumstances, right? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And so with me, man, I think my and I'm gonna give like a general thing. When I kind of started to, there was a breach in loyalty with my family and my personal well-being was maybe in like 2021 or whatever, when you know, I kind of distanced myself from my family, from really my immediate family, because I started to look at things differently. Mm-hmm. Right? And maybe they were, I don't know whether they were doing something, they wanted to go out, or hey, they wanted to go and watch a movie or something like that. And I didn't see myself in a place where I should have been going out and watching movies, you know? And when you're doing something like that with people, it's more than just kind of going out and watching movies. It's really time spent with your family. Yeah. You know, it's a really quality time, right? And to me, I felt that, right? I'm like, man, I'm abandoning them, right? Because I don't want to be included in that stuff. And I always was included. And that's really spending time is really a big connection between us, a connection builder or a connection sustainer, between us, right?
Almost like a love language for y'all.
Yeah, right. I love that. So love language for sure. Like, and so, I feel like I was being like I was more loyal to me than I was to that love language, and like it was hard for me. I felt alone. What I'm saying? I felt like I like kind of betrayed them in a sense, and like I kind of got the feeling like, who you think you are? You know what I'm saying? Like you come from the same spot, like you think you too good to go and watch a movie, bro? Like you too good to go and spend time with them? You know what I'm saying? And I had to correct those accusations that I placed on myself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And kind of navigate through that, and that was hard, and that was really one of the first times I was come up against the simple fact that this thing is complicated.
Yeah, for sure.
Excuse me. Right? It's like it's not the dynamic, whether it's healthy or not, it will never be simple, right? We're gonna get that out the way in the beginning. Family and blood connections are not simple as they may seem. We like, oh, that's blood. Yeah. They snapped.
Yeah.
Oh, that's blood. This should happen. This should happen. And it's not like that, and it shouldn't be treated as such. You know what I'm saying? Excuse me, yo. What you think about that, too?
I think that I think I could kind of relate to like what you were saying with your family, because there was even times where, like, let's just say I invited you out. You know what I'm saying? I'm in Houston, you're in New Orleans. I'm like, man, look, come to Houston, we going whatever, come down here for the weekend or whatever. And you was kind of like on a no days off type of flow, you know what I'm saying? And it's kind of similar, but that's your blood family, but it's the concept is the same. And so I understood what it meant to you. You know what I'm saying? What it would have meant to you to be able to spend that time, but at the same time choosing yourself so that you can do what you feel is best for you, do what you felt that was imperative to grow, you know what I'm saying, to evolve into what you're trying to accomplish. It's kind of like I gotta kind of I gotta earn that, you know what I'm saying? I gotta be able to put the work and put the time in, work hard so I can play hard. And right now it's like, about me personally, and you can correct me if you relate, but me, I feel like I kind of gotta work hard before I can play hard, because if I feel like I haven't done enough, but I'm out here vacationing and partying and stuff like that, I kind of get that remorse, you know what I'm saying? And I kind of get that guilt, and to me, I just feel like I shouldn't be. I can't even really enjoy it, because I just kind of feel like I'm doing this, but I feel like I haven't put all the work in to be here. You know what I'm saying? When I got other things that I said I want to do, but haven't done yet.
Yeah, for sure. I think what changed for me was, because I think everyone has their idea of obligations that they may have towards their family. Mm-hmm. And I think at some point my obligations changed. Mm-hmm. And it varies from family to family. Like, what do you think your obligations to your family, if any? Right? Excuse me, I'm sorry. Now, I know one thing, right? I know the Bible says, honor thy mother and father. Right? Yo, guys, excuse me. I be want to cough so bad, but I'm trying to get this out. So, honor thy mother and father for sure, right? But how? I think I have a choice in how I want to do that. I think my obligation changed. Like I can go and spend time, or I can go out and make more time so I can spend unlimited time, and my grandkids could spend time, and then all my kids, and then my grandkids' kid, and then I didn't change the whole entire legacy. That was my mental state, right? But what's important is I realized what my obligations was. A lot of us don't know what our obligations was, or it's chosen for us. I think we can choose with understanding, right? Because I had to really explain what I wanted my obligations to the legacy to be, you know what I'm saying, or to my family, right? Because I like we all different. We're all different people. Even though we grew up in the same household, we have different purposes, you know. And so I've chosen, like there's nowhere that says that I have to do this, but I've chosen to go and make sure my grandmother is straight. I've chosen to make sure I call people and check on them. Like I've chosen to do that based on the consequences of that, which is very important. You know what I'm saying? Like that's part of my legacy thing. Like I chose that, right? So choose what you want your family thing to look like and what you can do to help that out, right? You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't trying to rebuild my family, and I'm not trying to go and change everybody, but I can change me. And I can change me based on what I deem my obligations to be / responsibilities. You know what I'm saying? And so when you take responsibility, you actually take a little piece of control. It's a small margin, you know, of control, right? But you increase that based on your responsibility and stuff like that. So my obligations to my family changed in that moment, right? And I think a lot of people need to figure out what their obligations are too.
For sure. I like that idea, man, because you know, ultimately, kind of like what you were saying, like I'll go along with what you were saying is, you know, having that obligation and having that control. Because a lot of times when we start to shift the trajectory of our obligations and we say, okay, listen, you know, I like to do the Thanksgiving thing, or I like to do we have our own family ritual thing that we do, but like I need this time for me to do what I gotta do so that I can show up better in the world. I can show up better for my family. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes when you do that, you know, some people don't know how to accept that. Some of your family members don't know how to internalize that. They think that it's okay. Well, look, he think he better than us, like you said earlier. You know what I'm saying? Like, he think he too good or whatever. Or you making all this money now. You gotta, you know what I'm saying? You running the store now. You know what I'm saying? It's like you doing all this and all that, but what about us? You know what I'm saying? Like you growing up, you glowing up, but you ain't necessarily like extending no olive branch to us. You know what I'm saying? To pull us up. You know what I'm saying? So I think that sometimes when you shift those obligations, sometimes you run into those kind of things. How would you navigate? How do you think is like, what's the healthiest way to navigate that? You know what I'm saying? When you have that. And then after you answer that, we're going to go into a couple of other things that we kind of run into, the things that kind of causes family division too. But we're going to get to that. But answer that first question is just like, how do you think you handle that in a healthy way?
So I think we inherit beliefs and obligations, right? We inherit certain practices inside of the culture that was already there inside of our bloodline, right? And first of all, you gotta establish that you know who you are and know what you want. You know what I'm saying? Like I you know, once none of that stuff happened until I figure out what I want out of life. And then that kind of, I had to match my family stuff with that. And then so, with those things that I inherited, I had to choose, right? And like there's no, in a relationship that you in, there is no smooth, it's not always going to be easy to do. And it's not always going to be smooth either, right? Yeah. Like one of those beliefs is, hey, you're supposed to make sure mental or like you're supposed to what's that? It's like you gotta coddle somebody's feelings, right? Like, are you feeling type, let me go and comfort you right quick, right? Or let me go and, instead of like, hey, like being real, you know what I'm saying? Like, you were a boyfriend and broke up with, like, you ain't had no business with dude in the first place. Right. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that I've chose, and it's hard. Like I be in my household and I gotta kind of tiptoe around stuff. I don't be wanting to do that, you know. And that's something I chose. But here's the tricky part, too. When you make a choice to choose an obligation or a belief inside of your family, you need to know exactly what you're accepting. I know when I speak up sometimes that I'm gonna get some flashback or some blowback. Some blowback.
Yeah.
Some blowback. I know that I'm gonna get some blowback from it. I'm expecting it to, because I accepted the whole entire thing. Mm-hmm. Like, you're in a certain place when you're doing it, and then you're upset about it, and then you're like, why nobody can't? Because you only need expectations of yourself. That's it. Boom. You get that. You accept that, and you accept everything that come with it. I know they're not gonna like me afterwards. I know they're not. And I've accepted that. If that's something you can't accept, then maybe you should not even get, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't have one without the other. And I think that's probably the biggest thing for me, what I had to figure out, because I started to, once I started changing, I started expecting change out of them to kind of accept where I was going and maybe go the same route, or just accept what I was putting out. Mm-hmm. And that was probably the toughest thing for me, man. What you think about that? What about you, man? You have any, similar experiences?
No, none in particular that I want to necessarily speak on, but I do appreciate you sharing that insight on that, and giving the way that you can kind of like give that perspective in a healthy way. And I do just kind of want to be cautious of, I don't want to necessarily ponder on this particular point too much. I do want to kind of get to a different thing. That's why. But ultimately, I think you gave a great illustration on, how to approach things, whether it be from, like you said, you got to kind of you got to kind of like pick your poison in a sense. You want to take that responsibility. You got to know what you want. You got to know what you're willing to take on with handling things and stuff like that. And it's all a part of, handling the situation in a healthy way, because sometimes you're going to ruffle feathers. But at the end of the day, if it calls for you to be the one to do it, to get things done, to move the needle, then it's on you to do that. You know what I'm saying? And you got to take that. You're going to have blowback. You're going to hurt some feelings. You're going to say some things that people feel like was too far. But the reality of it is when you say that thing that hurt their feelings, it's not that you hurt them. It's just that they had a pre-existing wound. And when you said what you said, it just put pressure on that wound. So that's just.
But it's just not used to it. Like, like it's not always like it's not always like a really negative thing. It's almost like why you, like, when you got here, like, I don't know that. Like, I feel attacked. You know what I'm saying? And it's not just so like at any point. It's just like, just don't take it personal and accept your entire poison. Like, don't try to accept part of the poison. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah, it's all in the same breath. It's all in the same token. You know what I'm saying? Because, but so we ain't got to go too deep up in there. But ultimately, that's
deep.
That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to take it for what it is. You know what I'm saying? But I do want to move. I want to switch a little bit and look at and talk about. Let's get into the favoritism aspect of things. And I want to talk about how favoritism plays a part in the dynamic of families segregating, and that we're able to give personal experiences great, but based on my experience, even if I haven't personally, first-handedly experienced it, which I kind of have observed it, is what I'm saying is like, I give my my opinions and my what I recommend, how one can approach that situation based off of my experiences. But I'll give you the floor first. Do you have any personal experiences with favoritism or even witnessing favoritism cause division in the family structure?
I wouldn't know, because I'm the favorite. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't know. You know what I'm saying?
Are you truly the favorite, or do you think you the favorite?
I think I am. I listen, everywhere I go, I get treated like I'm the king or Prince of Persia. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I think my mom did a very good job with individualizing her love for everybody. Mm-hmm. So I don't necessarily have an experience with that, but I've figured out I get favoritism where I go because of how I move. Because my mom gave me that individualized love, I know how to do that towards other people. So everywhere I go, I give people a different experience. So I have my own relationship with them. I'm not just cousin. I'm Corey too. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm not just brother. I'm big brother. You know what I'm saying? So I have positive experiences with favoritism. Even so to where I'm able to actually manipulate favoritism. So no negative experiences.
Okay, cool. And that's good. I mean, because I know for me personally, and just even being with you, moving around, or even like sometimes we be on the phone and you might walk into like a family function or whatever the case is, and you've even vocalized to me how like the family get when you walk in the room is different. And I know you do have one of those personalities to where that is something that you truly want is that when you walk in the room, you change the temperature in the room. And so there's a part of it is kind of like, in a sense, demanding it, even if it's an indirect way. But like you say, you give an experience, so you put yourself on the map. So when you walk in the room, you make sure people know you in the room at the same time. You know what I'm saying? You're not like a picnic, but at the same time, you just make sure that your presence is known. And when you walk in the room, so that's dope, man. Me personally, when it comes down to the experience, the experience of favoritism, man, I've seen it. I see it in my family. I see it all the time, and especially whether it be amongst the grandkids. Like I just said, like on my mama's side, like amongst the grandkids and different things. Like, it could be in the different ways of how what particular grandchild get more attention and time than the other grandchildren, or even when it's time for discipline. But they still very young, but I recall different times when they have, like, I had like my older cousins and nieces and stuff like that, and whenever we had like a family conflict, they'll be like, man, like you give such and such more time to this person or that person, you don't do nothing for me, you don't, you know what I'm saying? And then the person expressed that stuff and feel like they don't have the same backing that another person had, whether it be their sibling or other family member. Like, I don't have that same consideration. You don't have that same patience you have for them, for me. You know what I'm saying? And man, from what I have observed, favoritism, man, I think favoritism is like poison. It's like a cancer that can spread throughout the family. Dynamic. It could be through siblings, or just it could be amongst grandkids, or whatever the case is. I think that favoritism is extremely dangerous. I hadn't really thought too much about it up until like the last year or two, to really see the damage that favoritism can do. Because when one is valued over everybody, you create unnecessary resentment for that one child or one person, a family member who is favorited amongst the other ones. You make other people resent them. You know what I'm saying? Off of the strength that they not getting that love, they not getting that attention. You know what I'm saying? And then there's automatic conflict that they don't even necessarily need to have, but because the elder chose this person over everybody to be the favorite, I'm gonna call on you. I'm gonna make sure you got this first. I'm gonna make sure I save the last piece of pie for you, even though I know they got, you know what I'm saying? Like, that can definitely cause resentment, because we all have our personalized weak spots. We have our pain points, and we all have some lack in us to some degree in different areas. And sometimes when there is favoritism, that favoritism can exploit some of those pain points that we have, the things that we didn't get when we was a child. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be attention, whether it be that extra consideration, whether it be having that backup, making sure you have my back and I know you there for me. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Or even, you taking my brother's side over my side. Like, you always see their point. You don't never see my point. Like, So now when I get into relationships, I'm automatically defensive, because I feel like nobody understands me anyways. You see what I'm saying? So it's kind of like one of those things with favoritism. That's something that need to be, I think, one of the antidotes to favoritism.
I'm sorry to cut you off. Like, what you think, before you get to the antidote, what you think is the root of the favoritism? Like, where you think it comes from? What makes someone want to choose this person over that person?
Well, Sometimes in my experience of observing favoritism, I think that you have let's just say like in a parental structure. Sometimes parents live through their kids, for example. Right? Sometimes you might be the firstborn, you the oldest of your siblings, right? So you are like, you may be your mother or your dad's first opportunity to live out their dreams. So they're gonna put you in certain sports, they're gonna put you in certain activities, and they're gonna push you a certain kind of way. And they already have so much invested interest in you that they're gonna stick with you. Now they got the other kids coming too, but they see something in you, or they already got so much invested in you that they're gonna make sure like you gotta be the one. Cause you the oldest, you the firstborn. I need you to do this for, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's part of the reason why we have favoritism. And then also too, it could be because of, let's just say, someone may have experienced neglect or some sort of assault in their upbringing when they was a kid. And so they may see a grandkid, or they may see a kid, and they want to protect them from that, or they want to make sure that they got what they didn't get. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times the motivation come from, you know, things that we didn't have. Or it's projection. Typically, I think when there's favoritism, there is some form of fashion of projection. And I think to move to like the antidote part of favoritism, I think just acknowledging it. Find a healthy way to acknowledge it, bring it to the forefront, call it out. But at the same time, be prepared to accept that is the reality. Because especially when you're dealing with older people, you may not be able to get them to change their ways. And we often want people to change their ways to suit us, to make us feel better, to make us feel more comfortable. But one thing that I had to realize, even in my earlier experience that I was expressing with the loyalty thing, is that, man, listen, at the very least, you're gonna have to accept what it is that you experience with your family if you want to still maintain a relationship with them. You may not respect what they do, but you have to, in a sense, respect it enough to accept it, to be able to maintain some sort of relationship. And you may have to move a certain kind of way. You may not be able to come around all the time, but I can accept that this is who you are and you're not going to change. But I know how to separate my love from you, my love for you, apart from the things that you do. Because the Bible says don't hate the sinner, hate the sin. I might not like what you do, but you know, you still my brother, you still my sister, you still my cousin, you still my mom or daddy, whatever. I might not like what you did, but I still love you. So with that being said, I can't come around you because it's really not healthy for me. I can only take you in small doses and small ounces. But when it's time, when we have family function, I might come around. I come around. You know what I'm saying? I smile, laugh. But because you are committed to living your life the way that you've been living it, there's only so much of you I can take. So I'm gonna come around as much as I can withstand, but I'm gonna love you from a distance.
So that is as you talk, man, I'm realizing just how complicated that favoritism is, because it's literally a symptom to multiple problems, right?
Sure.
And I think the biggest thing is really, it comes down to our wholeness. As a whatever you are, as a mother, as a father, as a grandparent, as a sister, a brother, cousin, whatever you are, your wholeness in that role, or your ability to forgive yourself, and then the ability to forgive others. I'm not messing with my niece because I don't like her mama. I don't like my sister like that. So when all the nieces and nephews come over, right, they not getting no attention. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so you didn't even make it to the nieces and nephews because you still on your sisters and brothers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, like, there's so much that has to go on there, and so much repair, or and I mean, there's no replacing, but there's so much repair that has to go on internally, right?
First.
And the major issue with that is that all parties has to want to be involved in that situation, whether or not I want to listen, or what. So let me say this.
Yeah.
All parties don't have to be involved for you to change, but parties has to be involved for the culture to change as a whole, right?
Yeah.
But you gonna have to do your thing, and you raise your kids how you want this thing to change, right?
For sure.
And so, in the event when you can only do this by yourself, sometimes you're gonna have to draw some lines.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? You're gonna have to draw some lines in the case where this is where I want my culture to go, is like I'm taking this portion of the family that it's like a business. I'm taking this portion of my family and we going here with it. If you wanna, if like where you going, you're gonna go over there with it, right? So I can't really do too much with you. I can't really bring my kids around you like that. I'm going to draw the line because I'm gonna have to be over there supervised because of the mental protection that I need over my babies.
For sure.
And the mental protection I need over myself, right? And so that go a lot of ways, right? You know, in families we experience emotional abuse, physical abuse, financial abuse, the toxic behavior patterns. You know what I'm saying? And listen, your family generation has been going on. Okay, these issues have been going on generations before you.
Yeah. Whole
generations. So you're not about to come through and change every single one of them. That's just what it is.
Facts.
So what you, if auntie, if that's in her blood, I ain't gonna worry about changing auntie. Hey auntie, I love you. That's it. I'm gonna draw a line right there. I'm not gonna really have conversations with auntie. That don't mean I don't love auntie. Auntie might feel some type of way. So auntie might feel some type of way, but I gotta draw that line so I can go where I need to go. With the quality of what I want to go. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't gotta take auntie with me. That's a fact. You know what I'm saying? But I think that's hard to like. It's hard to draw lines because most times, especially for me, if I love somebody, because it's like a soft cutoff. You know what I'm saying? Like I like we don't like our relationship has no dynamic. But I love you. We used to do this together. We used to do that together. We used to such and such and such, right? But I'm going a different place, man. Like how like what are some practical things that we can do to navigate those kind of relationships when I ain't really talking to a cousin no more? I ain't really talking to my dad like that no more. You know what I'm saying? Like I only call him just to have a relationship with him. Emotionally, how do I navigate that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think as you were saying that, I was thinking about myself. I have been labeled as emotionally unavailable.
Yeah.
And the thing about being emotionally unavailable, one thing about life is that there's two sides to every coin. And for me, emotionally unavailability, like it may not be a strong suit in my relationship. But when it comes down to navigating the things like you just described, it helps me in those areas. Because if, like, for example, I'm gonna just say this, like, say for instance, like me and my mama, like we went some time without communicating like we used to communicate. To some people, that might really kill them. You know what I'm saying? That might really hurt them. But for me, I process different. So I can do that. I don't necessarily like it, but I can do it. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of time, emotional unavailability is kind of like, it can be very, very toxic for the person who is emotionally unavailable, because typically that means that they're not processing their emotions. But in some instances, I've found a way to not process my emotions, but not let me not process them become an infection in me. And it just, I'm just kind of numb to it. So it just like, I ain't necessarily process it. I ain't go through that box, but I'm not really worried about that box either. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's just kind of like how I process things sometimes. And I would say it's probably because of my emotional unavailability-ness. If that's even a word. But
for sure.
But how do you navigate that, Cole? I think to me the first thing that stands out is, you know, once you pretty much assess the situation, I think acceptance is a big part, because just like even if you have an addiction, for example, when you go to rehab, number one, first thing you gotta do is admit that you got a problem. And when you admit that you have a problem, you gotta kind of accept the fact that there is a problem. Right. And before you can go to fixing anything, you gotta be real with yourself and be honest about what it is. So I think part of the process, part of the being able to navigate that is to accept the fact that it is what it is for the time being. And then you gotta look at what is it that I can do to change the scenario. Because maybe it may be more so on my shoulders than I realize it is. Maybe if I just do this different, maybe it'll change things. But you have to realize, you got to remember that you cannot change other people. You can't make people do what they don't want to do. They have to feel incentivized enough to make a change. And if one is not willing to make that change, then you have to find peace with that. But you can rest assured that you have done everything that you can do. And I think the hardest thing about accepting different realities is that the reason why a lot of times we get uncomfortable is because things aren't the way that we want them to be. But the sooner we can accept other people for being people are people. They have their own demons and their own motivations, their own hurts, traumas, like they got their own stuff. And I don't know why you don't want to get on board with me, but the reason why you don't want to get on board with me is really not my problem.
It ain't got nothing to do with me.
Ain't got nothing to do with me.
It's not my fault. Like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, you should be able to go give Auntie a hug regardless.
Yeah, regardless. And
regardless.
That's when you know you are healed. I heard this before, but that's when you know you healed. You know you healed when, like, I heard this scenario a long time ago. It could have been like on a Tonight's conversation, or it was in one of those podcasts I was listening to. You know you healed from a heartbreak or a previous relationship when you can genuinely and honestly wish the best for that other person. If you see that person get married, you can truly, honestly be happy for that other person. Like the person that did you wrong, it don't got to be in a personal relationship. It could just be somebody who did you wrong. Like, man, dude, I see, he stole from me. Yeah, he did this, that, and the third. But, man, dude really got his life together. God, I wish all grace and mercy on that man. Like, God, he really turned his life around. I'm happy. He dude got a family. He married now. He got a career. He doing it. I'm proud of that. I love to see that. That's when you know you healed. But you got some people that's hurt, and then when they see somebody else doing good, they throwing dirt on their name, they hating on them, they wishing they business fail. I hope, you still got some work to do.
For sure.
That's the easiest way to tell to me if you truly like made progress.
For sure, and really not feel, because I think there's a point in time where you kind of doing it and it's just actions, and you kind of manifesting that for yourself. Yeah. But then you're gonna know after you feel that way, man. But to get to go further along with the drawing the line, there are instances where you actually gotta cut ties with people, right?
For sure.
You know, when there's just no way, it's like it's almost like this. It's almost impossible doing it without putting yourself in a certain predicament, you know, that is unhealthy for you or your family or what you have built. You know what I'm saying? And I think that you know, a few things, right? And this is pretty quick. A few things, it's like once you set boundaries with somebody, right? And like you verbal about those boundaries, that person, the first thing you can tell is if that person has respect. Anybody, I don't care where you at, if that person doesn't respect you in that small of a sense, they gotta go. Yes. There's nothing like respect there is nothing that can, like, respect is like an integrity. There's nothing that can survive without respect. Like, I'm gonna go a little bit deeper, right? Like, if you building a building, right, and the foundation doesn't respect the framework of the building, meaning that the foundation isn't strong enough to hold that building. Like, it don't respect it enough to have enough to hold it, it's gonna fall.
Yeah.
That's with anything, right? Straight up.
I think it's the other way around.
Other way around?
Processing what you're saying. Yeah, like if the structure of the building don't respect the foundation. Because the foundation could be like set at level 5, but then you about to put a level 8 building on top of level 5 foundation. So so when they building that building gotta be built with the respect of the integrity of the foundation in mind before you start building upon that. Is what I was thinking.
But I'm saying though, like the foundation get built first. That's why I kind of put the emphasis on the foundation, like, because you know, like you do have to. The vision, the foundation is for the building, for sure. Oh, that's the thing, right? The foundation is for the building. For sure. So the respect of the foundation gotta come first, right? Yes. Like,
by the
you know
architect.
What I'm saying? By the architect, right? So you need to have respect into that foundation before anything get built on top of it. You know what I'm saying? So if you telling cousin, stop calling me at 5 o'clock in the morning, and cousin keep calling at 5 o'clock in the morning, cousin getting blocked. Cousin getting blocked. You know what I'm saying? Like, I told cousin a couple of times, right? And like because there's a like I believe in benefit of the doubt, right? There's a lot of things we just miss and understanding, right? So with my cousin, I ain't gonna lie, cousin getting cut off. We ain't trying to go no further with cousin. It's just what it is. But my mama keep calling me 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm gonna block her, but then I'm gonna set up a session to see if I could talk to moms, right? I got a little bit more stake in her. I do.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm gonna go set up a thing, right? A therapy session or whatever, so we can talk, so mom can get some understanding, so she can know not to call me at 5 o'clock in the morning for whatever that reason is. We go after that because I feel like different people. I got different obligations too, right? My mama birthed me. The Bible said, "Honor thy mother and father." So I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
So I feel like I owe God that to owe her that. So I'm gonna go and do that. After that done, like, and you didn't did that, right? She didn't seek professional guidance. You know what I'm saying? Then estrangement might be necessary. You know what I'm saying? Meaning we're gonna have to cut them off after that. And some people might not go that far, but it's like, yo, I'm gonna give the benefit of the doubt, because there is a thing with, I'm grateful, and we talk about this sometimes too. Like, I don't give myself credit that I'm who I am.
Yeah.
I give God credit. I give the people and experiences around me credit. Right. And then I give myself credit for accepting those things. You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like I can't be like, oh, you ain't gonna want to do it, so you out of there. They might not have gotten that experience yet.
Yeah.
They might not have got that certain love. They might have gotten such and such, right? So while we navigating, excuse me, y'all, while we navigating through this, like, it's important to maintain a certain amount of humbleness before you, you know what I'm saying? Because still, even after I cut them off, if my mama come back, my mama show up and she like I'ma always hear her out. You know what I'm saying? Like, my mama come back, she like, oh, I gotta, you know, hey, I realized this, I realized that. Oh, ma, thank you. I appreciate, thank you for you. You know what I'm saying? But in the circumstances still the same, that I'm placing my mental well-being and what I'm building in danger. That's a means for me for cutting off. And I think it switches for different people, right? Yeah. Like, but have one set though. Don't just be like, oh, I'm gonna cut them off one day. Have one set. Have something set for like, if this happens, then you getting cut off regardless, and don't go back. A lot of times we be too weak. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't really got what it takes to be like, hey, I'm going like, I love my mama too much. Like, but you need to love you and what you building more.
Yeah.
To be honest, you need to love this future more. Yeah. To be honest, you need to love your kids more.
You gotta love your family more. Your family that you're building. Yeah.
Right. You gotta love them more than cause what we really be doing sometimes, we be enabling that behavior for them. They could do it with you, so it's possible. And I'm gonna keep doing it. You feel what I'm saying?
For sure. Look, there was something that my lady had said that she came across once upon a time. She said, "Don't let the family that you come from affect or ruin the family that you building." And I would ask myself, in those movies, how sometimes you see where, you might have a couple that's like maybe like in their 30s, 40s, and they be like, what the scenario be like, maybe there's like a death in the family, like one of the parents may die, they may be about to go away, or something happened, they need to take care of some business, and they'll ask, was there anyone else that the child can go with? And they were like, well, no, we don't have any other family. I'd be like, how the hell, like, they don't got no other family? Like, where they parents at? Like, where they brothers and sisters? They the only child? Where they cousins and aunties at? Like, they in a relationship with another family? Some people really be on the island. Like, some people really be out here living on the island. And, man, that's just a harsh reality of, sometimes it's necessary because, like I said earlier, you can't change people. You can only accept and kind of like grow to respect their position. And when you truly respect somebody, is accepting them as who they are without trying to change them. It's like, if I'm trying to change you and make you who I want you to be, I don't respect who you are as a person. Whether I agree with who you are as a person or not, I have to find a way to respect you enough to accept you for who you are without trying to change you.
Yeah.
And then off of that, I can build a relationship. And if you want to change, if you want to grow and develop, cool, we can have more of a relationship. If you can't do that, then our relationship will have to be impartial. Like, we'll just have to be segregated, and that just have to be what it is.
Yep. And that's a life within itself, and that's it kind of doesn't end there. You have to live your life after that, and there's things that are gonna come. You're gonna have guilt, you're gonna have pressure, like this, social pressure, like you just said, like, hey, you don't got no aunties, and like you gotta explain that every time. That's some things that you gotta deal with. You gotta have those answers ready. There's some systems that, like, I might, like, usually somebody will go and get stuff like this from their mom or their daddy or their cousin or whatever, and you can't go get that from them. That doesn't mean that you can still do without it. You gotta go and get it from somewhere else. You gotta go find it somehow. You know what I'm saying? And so you got that, and and this is up to you, right? Like, me personally, I would still, like, we got family events, I would still show up to my family events because I don't not want to be connected. I just can't be connected as, like, how they want me to be connected.
Right.
And that's a thing within itself. Know if you can manage that. If you can't, then just, you're not going. But if you going, know what you're gonna have to deal with when you get there. Have your mental in a good space, you know what I'm saying? And so, man, to kind of close this thing up, man, it's like, we have our family, and we have people that's related to us. We may have obligations to them that come from birth. We need to take and we accept or deny those obligations based on the way that we want to live our life. And we navigate from there, who accepts the obligations that we accepted, the life that we accepted, who can stay in our life, who don't need to stay in our life. And, the thing that kills, for me, 90% of the time, is communication. Yeah. Like, we're not even talking about these things, A lot of stuff.
Big deal.
To be honest, we didn't even have to cut each other off. We just had to talk about it. And that's part of that giving the benefit of the doubt. Like, go and have a man to man, a man to woman, a woman to woman conversation before you go to cutting people off just because that's what you're good at. You know, it could be something where, like, bro, 50% of the time it's a misunderstanding, Toe. It's not even like legit what y'all fighting over. It's not even legit because grandma gave you more cookies than them. I ain't even realize it. I ain't know grandma gave me more cookies. Here, you can have all my cookies because grandma gave me so much love. I can give you some love.
Yeah.
You feel me? So a lot of times we need to communicate. And if you communicate and you can't communicate, that's cool. Just make sure when you get your own family, you establish communication.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Or those not transitional, but those what you call them things, like those family curses or trans what's the word? Generational. Boom.
Generational.
Those generational curses or those generational values or behavioral systems will sprinkle off into your offspring. So the good thing is that you may not be able to go back up the line, the family tree, and change the family tree. But if you got it, if you was the seed that was able to realize and identify that there was a problem, maybe you can reach out from branch to branch. Or if not, at the very, very least, you can raise your kids to be different. You don't have to put that same nourishment into your kids that was the poison that causes a disruption in the family.
Yep, and what you said too, Toe, just now when you said that stuff is inevitably going to be passed to your offspring means that you have no choice but to face them in some kind of form or fashion.
Yep.
Some form of fashion, you need to communicate with God, with somebody, and go get these things fixed. Because whether you know it or not, just because you don't like your daddy, it don't mean that he ain't in you. Y'all literally got, it's literally there. You know what I'm saying? So that's also a thing. Cut them off if you want, but don't cut off the issues because the issues need to be taken care of.
That's the bleeding that need to stop.
Yes, sir.
Man, Mr. Cole. This was a phenomenal conversation.
Yes, sir.
Man, I almost feel like this thing deserves a part 2 because there was a whole bunch of different things that we didn't touch on. Especially those family secrets. I really did want to get into those family secrets, but man, maybe we'll brush on it in the next episode or a different episode when this thing come back around. Sure. But without further ado, man, we just want to thank and personally thank each and every single one of y'all for being the best part of the Free Will Podcast family. We want to thank y'all for being on this journey. We want to thank everybody who made a commitment to subscribe, everybody who want to take this walk with us in life and becoming the best versions of ourselves. And we just want to thank you. We want to grow with you. We want to heal with you. We want to love with you, love on you. And together we will become the best versions of ourselves. Mr. Cole, let the people know that they can meet us here next Friday, 8:30 Central Time.
And don't just meet us there.
Beat us there.
You heard me?
Thank y'all. Hope y'all enjoyed the broadcast. We can't wait to see y'all on the next one.